Thank you for streaming with us this morning. I'm Brad Edwards. It is 11:32 here, bottom of the hour. I want to talk about what happened just a short time ago in a Lake County courthouse courtroom, and that being the shooter, the Highland Park spree killer on July 4th, charged with 117 counts, went through what will really be his preliminary hearing. It was pretty basic, to say the least. 9 minutes in and out, 10:59 to 11:09. He spoke 14 times. Said his birthday once, no once, and yes 12 times. Procedural but important nonetheless. I want to break it down with one of our legal eagles, our legal eagle, Irv Miller. Irv, you were not able to see it. It was quite a tight group. I think they kept it to. It was on Zoom. Any key takeaways from what took place?
Well, the only thing I was curious about is whether or not he would be present for it, or it would occur from Zoom from the jail. But apparently he was in the courtroom. Arraignments are pretty standard. There's not much variety about them. Typical arraignment is that his lawyer is given a copy of the charges. The defendant's asked if he understands what he's charged with, what the potential sentences may be, and at that time he enters his plea, which is 99.9% of the time it's a not guilty plea, which is what he entered in this particular case. The judge by law then has to tell him that if he doesn't show up for his court appearances, whether he makes bond, which he can't because he has no bond, but even if he escapes from the jail and he doesn't appear for court for his trial, he could be tried in his absence. And if he's convicted by a jury, he could be sentenced in his absence. Then the case is typically continued to a future date, which I believe is November 1st, where the discovery process begins, which is where the state has to turn over all their records, their police reports, their forensic information over to the defense attorney. And that will take many court dates before we get down to talking about a trial in this case.
Yeah, Judge Victoria Rossetti was very precise and expeditious in the manner of how she handled it. Again, it was 9 minutes, and you were right, Irv. It was interesting. Wasn't sure if we were going to see the charged, if we were going to see the defendant come out. He did come out. He was wearing dark, kind of typical jail garb. He was one of the only ones in the courtroom with a mask. Covert procedures. Looked fairly slight in figure compared to the three other individuals that were standing right next to him, three individuals at the defense table. Will those be his defenders? Will those be his attorneys, or at least right now in the process, that's who he's drawn?
Well, right now, those are his lawyers, and it's my understanding those are attorneys from the Lake County Public Defender's Office. It's not unusual for more than one lawyer to step up on a homicide case, particularly when there's multiple victims involved in the charging documents. So I suspect those were three lawyers standing next to him. Will they stay on? It's not an individual public defender that's typically appointed. It's the public defender's office. So, they could decide down the road that some other attorney from the public defender's office could step in, or if possible, if it can be done, if he has the resources, he can hire a private attorney. And then the judge will grant the public defender's office permission to withdraw from the case and allow the new attorney to file an appearance in court, where that attorney will take over probably at that moment for the conclusion of the case.
Irv, since the gravity of this case, you obviously know that the state's attorney in Lake County, Eric Reinhardt, is going to throw every available asset at this case. You and I have spoken about Mr. Cremo, the defendant in the case. This isn't a cause celeb. This isn't some type of larger issue. This appears to be mass shooting motivated by hate from all appearances. So you've talked about, frankly, the unlikeliness that some private attorney will want to take him on. This isn't Kenosha, Wisconsin. We're not talking Second Amendment. This isn't Jesse Smollett, where there are other issues. This is a third rail anyone would want to avoid. So if he doesn't get a private defender, is there anyone in the public defender's office, could they also say, hey, I don't want to defend him?
They could go to their boss, the chief public defender, and say, just, I don't think I get, do a good job for this individual. He has the right to the best representation possible. You could say, I live in Highland Park, or I have friends in Highland Park, or I know somebody that was hurt in this particular case, and I have no doubt that they would reassign the case to some other public defender in the office that would be able to represent him. The bottom line is everybody's entitled to a legal defense, and lawyers, when we take an
I've been employed.
uphold the law and do the best we can in court to represent our clients to the best of our ability. And attorney doesn't have to take the case, and we could ask leave to withdraw if there's something comes up during the case where we don't feel we could adequately represent the person. It happens all the time, frankly. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened down the road. But right now it sounds like he has 3 public defenders standing next to him defending him.
Yeah, and he does deserve the best defense as per the Constitution that is available to him. And we know, obviously, the Lake County State's Attorney will throw every possible asset they have at this case. We were just a minute ago looking at a picture of some of the victims in this case, 7 of them murdered July 4th morning, minutes after the beginning of what was small-town Americana 4th of July parade.